Hey everyone, how's it going? Pixels here, and all the new players, welcome to Evil Dead the game. And today I'm going to be giving you a beginner build for Leader Ash. So with this beginner build, I'm factoring in, you're not going to be very experienced in the game. You're probably going to be taking a lot more damage. You're not going to be used to, combating the dodges or countering the dodges to the evil units attacking you as well. And I'm going to basically go through the build. I'm going to explain, what points that you should be looking out to spend prioritizing leveling up your character. Obviously, you're not going to have 30 skill points like I do because I'm prestige 5 with the character. So I will be spending 25 skill points, which is how many you will get once you have this guy maxed out before prestige. So just a quick, breakdown for the character. So Ash is really good, and the way you meant to play him is mainly to spam finishes. And if you don't know what finishes are, it's when you get the red skull icon above a unit and you will perform a finisher that way. Not the special move. The special moves are different. They're the ones where if you do like you press the finisher button and the balance bar isn't fully drained on the unit. But we are going to break down the character a little bit. So his ability, it's not the best ability in the game, however it can come in some clutch situations, when you've got a lot of crowded deadites around you. If a possessed unit's balance bar is slightly drained, if you don't know what the balance bar is, it is a little white bar under the unit's health that you must pay attention to when you're in combat as well. Once you get that around halfway and you press his ability, it will stun the possessed unit more or less. So factoring in that's more or less the time that you should be using that ability. But yeah, it's not a great ability. It's decent once you do get a prestige. However, you do get a little bit extra balance bar damage, and you can use it a lot more frequently. You get an extra 5 seconds off the cooldown there. But this should not be something that you should be spamming on a regular basis. Honestly, it's only good for certain situations, like maybe he's helping to get a revive on the team, sort of clearing the area of deadites. It knocks them back for a little 2 seconds or so, and it does help your team out that way. But yeah, once if you're in a fight and you're panicking, you press B, you can more or less die using this ability if you use it the wrong way, because you will get stuck in an animation and you will get attacked by a possessed unit that's not going to be affected too much by El Jefe's ability. It's mainly to focus the AI units down. But yeah, if timed right, it can help against a possession, but just bear that in mind while you're playing this character. El Jefe, so for those of you who don't understand the auras and stuff here, I will explain a bit. So you can see how he has 2 unlocked for me. That's because I have him prestige. You will only have 15% and 20% on the fear resistance there. So 15% damage, 20% fear resistance as a base. So a lot of people won't know this, but you might look at a master and influence on the skill tree, which is this perk right here, and that's going to be a 20% aura improvement. That does not add on. That is multiple. So that is multiplied, sorry. So you do 20% of 15%, so you are going to only get an extra 3% there. So if you want to work it out, I always work it out doing by 10%. So if you did 10% of 15, that would be 1.5, and then you double it because it's 20%. That'll add 3% onto the damage there. That's how it works out. I know a lot of people who are new to the game probably won't understand that, but again, that's how Master Influence works on that. His ability is really good though. The damage does apply to him and his teammates that are in his aura range as well. And not only that, but once you do get him leveled up, you will start the match with a chainsaw. I'm going to say the chainsaw is not bad on El Jefe. It's pretty good for dealing some balance bar damage and getting some finishes spammed. For me, I've always found, if you want to prioritize finishes on this guy, the main thing that I like to use is a sword. Honestly, I don't know why the sword is just so good for using finishes on this dude. It might sound a bit strange, but when I was going through my prestige here, and I'll just quickly go over this for you guys. So look at level 4 on the prestige. The challenges to get a prestige level 5 was to perform 1,170 finishes, and I accomplished this by using nothing other than a sword. I always found the sword was the best method for this, honestly. I don't know if it's because of its light attack hit radius or something like that. It just worked really well for me. Obviously, stuff like a blue mace, a chainsaw can still work well to do finishes as well, so don't worry about that, about not using the chainsaw, because it does work decent on this character. So the chainsaw is a bit heavy with the heavy attacks, however, so if you are new to the game, do avoid using the heavy attacks on the chainsaw. It won't help out that much. there is a very fine art of using heavy combat with a chainsaw, and it takes a lot of experience to get right using the heavy combat and the chainsaw, just because of the way the hit detection is with it. But mainly you want to use light attacks and then use a finisher on that. So, and once you get him to level 25, the aura improvements of, you know, when you do a finisher or dismember an enemy is affected by 100%, so it will be effectively doubled, and that's how it works out there. If you don't understand that, basically if you do a finisher, this ability right here will become doubled. So instead of 15%, you will be buffing the team for 30%, and that lasts roughly about 5 seconds, you know, 3 to 5 seconds. I haven't actually timed it myself. And if you do look next to Ash's head, you see the little chainsaw icon. You will see that under your health bar once you've performed a dismemberment or a finisher. And if you're not unaware what a dismemberment is when you like hack off a limb or something of an evil unit. It can happen. It's very RNG. It's very random if that happens. So prioritizing finishes again is the key thing for this character. So that's just a little breakdown for the character. Like I said, that's more or less how you should be playing him. You know, mainly going for finishes. He works really good there. So let's get into the build. And so the first thing, you're obviously going to have a point to spend in. You have to put it in Great Influence. Now, where you want to go from here is Artful Dodger, in my opinion. You want to put your next point into there. The main reason is that gives you extra dodges. So I think with 1 point, you'll get 3 dodges with some pink F upgrades. To get your next point, you want to go for that extra 10% of health. So combined, you know, with 3 dodges, some extra 10% of health, you're already sort of being a bit more difficult to kill. So where we go from here, I suggest going for cardio. A nice little 5% stamina cost reduction on your sprinting can help out greatly, you know, trying to get to certain places. Just sprinting at the start of the game as well, you know, helps to get your loot early game. So just, you know, putting an extra 5% there, it might not seem a lot, but it all adds up in the end, and it does help out greatly. Your next point, I will suggest going into Artful Dodger to 20%. So this only really works on leaders, but if you go 2 and 2 in Artful Dodger, you will end up with 4 dodges in the end, which is pretty insane. That never used to happen when the game first come out. So, you know, all my old kind of El Jefe builds or Leader Ash builds are they're really different back then to what they are now. Obviously, prioritizing Artful Dodger, getting those 4 dodges is an extremely strong thing to have on your character there. Oh, you're about level 5. This is what your build should roughly look like. The next one we're going to put into Industrial Strength, and then we're just going to max that out of 3 there. So you'll have an extra 20% of health. You'll have 4 dodges, more than enough to survive at the moment. So you're going to come down here, then you're just going to max out your balance bar damage there. And then you really want to go for your Devastating Force for the extra 15% melee weapon damage. So these will factor into your finishes really well. Obviously, the balance bar damage, you know, you're going to drain the unit's balance bar with your melee attacks a lot faster. And then Devastating Force is actually going to allow you to perform a finisher a lot faster as well. You know, the higher the damage that you have on your weapon, the sooner you can perform a finisher as well. That's how it works in this game. So bear that in mind whilst you're looting and stuff. And looking for better weapons, you know, using stuff like a purple, you know, staff, or, you know, a purple sword, a purple lumberjack axe, anything like that can work really well to getting finishes early as well. Of course, like I said, even the base chainsaw can do well on this guy for finishes, so don't worry about that. You know, you're playing Ash, you want to use a chainsaw, that's totally fine. But you're not going to be underperforming using a chainsaw on this guy at all. So we're going to come up here, we're going to put a point in Deep Pockets ammo. You're going to carry an extra 5 ammunition. So primarily you'll be using like stuff like a shotgun or a boomstick with this dude, which can help perform finishes. Again, it can help out against bosses a little bit. Once I do have extra prestige points, or you have extra prestige points, that's when you start looking into doing some range damage with this guy. But the way leaders work is that everything's set to default. So other classes will have minus melee damage, minus range damage, if that makes sense. So they will have obviously range and melee debuffs, whereas leaders, they're set to default damage. So anything you put in the skill tree will buff that up, which I think is really good, honestly. That's why I enjoy playing leader so much. So we're just going to put a point in Deep Pockets ammo, so the range weapons will still be slightly effective before you have this guy prestiged. I'm going to put I can still help, because I know that you are new to the game. You will tend to go down quite a lot. You may even die. That's totally fine. But this perk will definitely help your team out still. Even if you're bleeding out or you become a soul, I think it's really good there. And then you're just going to put 1 point in Echoes of the Aura, which gives you gives your teammates an extra 3 seconds away from your aura to actually have the buffs that you provide. So Okay, so speaking of the aura, we're then going to come back up to the Great Influence perk. And we're just going to put 2 points into that. You know, going up to a 12.5 meter range, more or less, is going to, you know, keep your team nice and buffed. They're going to stay in the aura circle a lot easier during objectives and things. And then combined with the echoes of the aura, it's going to work out great. So then we have roughly about 6 more points left to spend. So what I like to go for here is just putting points into Deep Pockets Matchsticks. The most OP perk of the game, by the way. I'm only joking, it's actually not. You know, Light Therapy is not a bad perk. You can actually get some use out of this. It doesn't really become effective on Leader Ash because, you know, he has like a great high fear resistance because of his El Jefe ability. So he already has a 20% fear resistance there. So his fear level doesn't go up that much. And once you get some pink F upgrades into fear, that doesn't matter too much either. So then we're just going to put 1 point of Fear No Evil. Again, an extra bit of fear reduction of like any source of fear, basically. So if that's opening a crate trap, setting off a trap from the demon, you will get a little bit reduction there. The reason we're actually looking at, you know, going through these fear perks is to get it tougher than hell. Unfortunately, the way the leader skill tree is designed, it's very flawed. So, you know, it's kind of ridiculous. You know, you start off with a health perk, you go for 3 fear perks, and then you have to get it tougher than hell that way. It's very unfortunate for me. I would personally like to see something after improved amulet here, so that way we can kind of go up to tougher than hell. Sort of how this one works. So you can totally avoid these 3 perks right here. You completely avoid those, and then you can go for like 3 up here. You max those 3 out, and then you can go for fast forward. Fast forward's something that's probably for more advanced players, I would say. It is a pretty basic perk. Obviously, it's self-explanatory, reduces the duration time for objective events. That's the pages and the dagger. But for me, that's, you know, for people who are quite experienced with the game so far, you know, they know how to dodge, they know how the finishes work and all that good stuff. So I do actually have other builds on my channel for this. If you go and check out my ultimate guide to El Jefe or Leader Ash, in that video I actually have a build around fast forward, and that's the build I like to run. But because you're a beginner player and you are watching this video, you know, you're not going to be attuned to the dodges, and you're not going to have the experience for the dodges on all the units in the game yet. And also, you're not going to understand, you know, when can I perform a finisher, how, like, basically moving around objectives efficiently and all that good stuff. You will learn that over time, and I think this build that I've given you right here will help you out with that. Taking less damage, you know, you got 4 dodges there. It might seem a lot of overkill to people who are experienced in the game, but for people who are new to the game, you'll definitely succeed using this build. So I'm going to tell you guys how to spend the pink fuck with this build. If you don't know what pink fuck is, it is pink F. It is the stuff that drops out of crates. So basically what you want to do is you want to max out stamina always. It doesn't matter who you're playing. On any class, stamina is the priority here because you want to get the maximum amount of dodges allowed for that. Not only that, but early game, it helps you sprint around a little bit more and getting some better crates and faster loot. And you know, you're not going to be worrying about your stamina regenerating too much there. So always prioritize stamina on the pink fuck upgrade tree. So we're going to go stamina. And then the next thing I want to go for is melee. And the reason I want to go for melee with this guy is obviously you want to get the finishes as much as possible, and the melee will definitely help out with that. And then, you know, if you're being a new player, I think you'll benefit a lot from going from melee to buffing up the fear level on this guy. So maxing out the fear on El Jefe will basically make him unpossessable. Like, I find it almost impossible to get possessed once I have that maxed out. So the top 3, like I said, stamina, melee, then fear, and then go for health from there. And that's all that's the 4 priorities there. You know, ranged after that, and then shield last. Shield does not work well on leaders, so don't bother going for that. Honestly, it's not worth it. I have messed around builds doing reinforced amulet, improved amulet, but for me, it's just not worth it, honestly. You know, I found that having 4 dodges, tougher than hell, you know, 3 and 3 industrial strength is going to be more than enough for you guys to actually, you know, start learning the game, and you're not being, like, hindering the team because you're new to the game. You know, you're going to have a lot of survivability here. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this beginner build. If you have any questions about how to play the character, or if you have any questions about the build, leave me a comment down below, and I will get back to you. Like I said, he is one of my main characters in the game, so I'm quite experienced with him, and I can help you out, you know, if you want to know what weapons to use best for him or anything like that. But yeah, welcome all the new players to Evil Dead the game. I hope you enjoy the game. For those of you who already played the game and you're watching this build as well, hopefully you can try it out. Maybe enjoy it for yourself as well. I actually ran this build. I had a lot of fun with it. It was something different than what I normally run on this guy. But you will have fun doing it. It's a slightly different build to try out. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave me a like, hit that sub button if you are new to the channel. And I've been Pixels, with my awesome viewers. I'll catch you guys in the next one.